There's no words on it. We'll do it live.
Space Force.
Oh, yes. Think you can handle that?
Do it now. What's the matter?
Coming to you live from Arcane Sublevel 7, it's Talk is Cheap. Now here's your host, Dan Hohlfeld.
Oh, yeah.
There's no words there. All right, go.
Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little fun there in the intro. I always love doing that. Yes, another Tuesday edition. Tuesday, March 12th. We are live every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And I thank you guys for joining me live. It's always great to have everybody live in the house over here. We got the chat on screen. Say hi, I'll see it. We'll bring you up on the page, of course, and always great to have everybody on. Looks like we got about 19 watching. It should go up throughout the broadcast. So yeah, we'll open the phone lines up later. Shout out to David Marshall Taylor in the chat. I was talking to him before the show. He's watching from Scotland. It's just after 6 p.m. now there. Awesome. I don't know how that'll work out after we go to the new time. I'm kind of looking at maybe like a 7 p.m. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I'm trying to make it work. 7 p.m. on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. Still got to probably be maybe a month yet till that happens. Not looking forward to it, but got to do what you got to do here. So if you guys are looking for the regular panel show, the regular Talk is Cheap show that should have aired this last weekend, yeah, we were going to be live, all that good stuff, but it was hard to get everybody lined up for the to show up and all that. It's a big thing now, and it's going to be even harder on the new schedule because I'll have to work every other weekend. But we plan on doing it this Friday, 5:30 p.m. We'll be live. So if you want to join us, you can call in. We should have Dusty, Pete, and I in the house. So if you guys want to interact with us, we'll be there. We're going to talk about the booms that have been going on throughout the world. All right, big show here, folks. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. I'm going to talk about 9/11 remote viewing. The Farsight Institute did some remote viewing on 9/11 and some crazy stuff there with the whole 9/11, like basically what we think it is.
Do it now.
The explosions. But we'll break that down. I want to talk about a skeleton giant in Thailand. We're going to get into the Denver airport stuff. I know that's we talked about that on the show before, well, quite a few years ago. I think it's been a couple of years since we talked about it. Well, actually, Dusty talked about it in the Black Sun episode that happened last week. No, that was 2 weeks ago. And then we're going to get into some TR-3B pictures. I'm kind of on the fence about those, but it's interesting. And then a 30 million page backup on the moon, and then they're going to send that to Mars also. So I was going to cover the vaccine thing because the media has been hitting so hard about this. They say, you know, I look through the articles, it's like these anti-vaxxers, these kids are getting sick, they got the measles, blah, 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 blah. Why are they pushing this so hard now? And it really got me to question. I started looking at things. I got an ad up here, a cartoon from my local paper. They got, for those listening, a doctor in the emergency room with the baby on the table. They got the mom with an anti-vax shirt. He's holding 2 needles. He says he's got one that says the vaccine and the other one says the facts. He says this prevents measles and this prevents goofy conspiracy theories. Well, when you really look and see when the kids get basically I think it's usually sometimes the first shot, but usually the second or the third shot dose they give them, bam, they're fine talking, boom, hits them. They just can't talk. They get autistic. And then they don't want to take responsibility for it. Why? Because Big Pharma pays their checks. So I want to break that down next week just because the media has taken real strong hold of this. Facebook wants to censor any anti-vaxxers pages. Drives you crazy. But I wanted to watch the Vaxxed documentary. That came out in 2016. I have yet to watch that. So I wanted to watch that a little bit. I've been watching some of the testimony of the parents, and your heart just goes out to them. When the kid was fine talking, saying your name, and then after the shot, bam. So we'll get into that next week after I'm a little more prepped for that. All right, let's go into today's big story here, kind of. this is insane. So the genderless digital voice the world needs right now. So this came up on my news feed for Apple. And what was interesting about this digital voice assistant that they want to implement, they're basically, it's going to be non-binary, so not male or female. And they want people to basically push for this to get this on, you know, the Apple and all the other voice assistants there, Cortana, something so they can make it more balanced and, you know, gender neutral for everybody. But what is interesting about this is it's Q. It says meet Q, the first genderless voice assistant. Let's listen to this a little bit. It's kind of like, whoa, what the hell?
Hi, I'm Q, the world's first genderless voice assistant. Think of me like Siri or Alexa, but neither male nor female. I'm created for a future where we are no longer defined by gender, but rather how we define ourselves. My voice was recorded by people who neither identify as male nor female, and then altered to sound gender neutral, putting my voice between 145 and 175 Hz, a range defined by audio researchers. But for me to become a third option for voice assistants, I need your help. Share my voice with Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And together we can ensure that technology recognizes us all. Thanks for listening, Q.
Well, we'll see.
Oh my God. So they want to push this gender neutral thing. I don't know what you guys use for your digital voices. I prefer a female voice myself. I don't know if the women use the male version at all because they had that on for Siri as well. But this thing, I don't like even listening to it. It's like, ugh. Do people actually like this? But I just wanted to bring that up because Q, you know, is this going to be used as kind of like a psyop? So they could go, when people are talking about the QAnon stuff, they could go, well, Q said this, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just be like, ha, ha, ha. The non-binary voice assistant. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they can just kind of throw it all into the water. It's real interesting to think that why would they name it Q? The Silicon Valley knows about the conspiracy, if you will, that they say is such a conspiracy. They blew it up. Everybody knows about Q for the most part. Why name it Q? Thought it was very interesting. Yeah, pushing Casper in the chat says pushing transgender. They really want to screw up the balance in the ecosystem. It's all done by design, folks. All right, let's move on. That was just a little interesting tidbit here. Let's move on to our first article, right?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, wherever you are. Conspiracy theorists are more likely to be criminals and to approve of other forms of antisocial behavior, study reveals for the first time. Believers in conspiracy theories are more likely to find petty crime acceptable. What? That's ridiculous. New study by psychologists from universities of Kent and Stanford found, so they have their big studies here, and subscribers are more inclined to be involved in antisocial and unethical acts. Excuse me. I disagree with this. I think this is a push to demonize conspiracy theorists who question things. I myself, when I started digging into the conspiracy, realizing how dark things are, it actually pushed me, drove me to be that much of a better person and actually seek truth, honesty, and be more willing. Because I saw how corrupt things were. It's like when you're making, should we say it, child sacrifices, that evil stuff that's going on, you really look into this stuff. I went totally the other way. I wanted to be more positive, looked up enlightenment, did all this, you know, that was my journey, meditation, all that stuff. So the article continues, belief in such ideas like the theory that Princess Diana was murdered by the British establishment has often been associated with negative outcomes such as political disengagement, prejudice, and environmental inaction. Well,
Pretty good, huh?
if you hear that the government basically stage some of this stuff, you're going to be a little more weary of the government. They want you to freaking trust these government people that have been lying to you for so long. Give me a break. It says make people more inclined and be involved in antisocial and unethical acts. These actions include petty crimes such as trying to claim for replacement items, refund, or compensation from a shop when they were not entitled to do so. What?
That's right.
A second study showed that those who were exposed to the conspiracy theories during the experiment were immediately more accepting of low-level crime. Our research has shown for the first time the role that conspiracy theories can play in determining an individual's attitude to everyday crime. And then, where was that breakdown? I think I got to zoom back here in order to show the... Oh, here they are. Okay. So they got right here in the right column. What are some of the most popular conspiracy theories? The Apollo moon landing was staged.
Exactly.
The CIA killed JFK.
Exactly.
9/11 was a plot by the U.S. government to justify a war in the Middle East.
Exactly.
President Barack Obama was not a natural-born citizen. Well,
Exactly.
there was a lot of questions on his birth certificate there when you bring it up. A lot of anomalies. You can see that it didn't match the print that should have been for that time. But just ignore that, folks, because everything's fine and dandy, and that's just a conspiracy theory. And it also goes into the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School was staged to increase gun control. There's a lot of evidence for that. I had a woman reach out to me that lives up there in Sandy Hook. She said it was real. Not saying that it totally isn't. There's definitely a lot of questions there. Why do that circle loop outside the fire station? You had people coming out the back, going around the front, making a circle. There's just a lot of questions. And then also it says the deep state is trying to destroy Donald Trump's presidency. Well, that's totally obvious. So as far as I'm concerned, most everything on this list is either true or it should be questionable. So they want to demonize conspiracy theorists. Oh man, this whole media psyop is just pushing everybody. They don't want you asking questions, don't want you to bug in the chat. It says Bernie 2020. I'm not a Bernie supporter, but oh man. Mr. Trump is Q plus, not Q. There's a difference. For the that was Night Saber in the chat said Trump is Q. Yep, all a psyop, folks. They want to control the narrative. But you can't ask questions. They don't want you asking questions. So let's move on to some 9/11 remote viewing stuff, right? This is some crazy, crazy stuff.
Do your dance, do your dance, do your dance. Wild women, the ripping and the tearing.
Yes, yes. Okay, so this was actually put in the comments of one of the other videos I did. Dane69, shout out to Dane69. Sent me this link. This is the Farsight Institute. They do, if anybody watches this stuff, they do some remote viewing stuff. Now what remote viewing is they'll assign a generic number to a target. They could put these like pictures, like an instance, let's just say this 9/11 thing. They could put pictures of the Twin Towers into an envelope, right on the envelope, B69346. That number doesn't matter. The remote viewers will write down that number, and then immediately what comes to their mind, they'll start drawing it. So they have no precognition of what they're going to be sent. They just get the number and then they go for it. So this dude here got the number, and then so it was for the World Trade Center. So all this stuff starts coming to his mind. He says, writes down severe compression. He's got a bunch of, you can basically see it's a nice square, kind of like a building, like, and then all this smoke stuff. And then he says collapse. He's just getting all this stuff, crashing, collapse. And then later on, he does get into, let's see if I can find it here quick. The people coming into the building was that's what's this is so interesting about it, because we have a lot of theories on the whole 9/11 thing about what happened. Was it demolition? Was it nanothermite? So he's getting, when you look, watch this, so he basically said crews of men, they're aged about 30 to 40, going in there and planting something. He didn't know exactly what it was, but you just assume explosives of some kind at these spots. And then, you know, so that was one thing we didn't know what happened, but he was remote viewing, so people actually went in there and did that. Because on Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory show, he kind of thought maybe they put nanothermite in paint and they could be painting it on the, you know, it was just a theory, of course, but there was something to this. It was definitely a collapse. And then there obviously it ain't the same person. Here's another remote viewer, and he's getting a lot of the same stuff. And then I want to bring up the plane part here, because that was another question, like, okay, how did these craft crash into the thing? So he starts drawing the pilot, because even the Foresight Institute guy, I can't remember the main guy's name, he said he's a pilot. He would fight to the death before he let any terrorist get his aircraft control of it. So he starts drawing this, and then basically the pilots of the aircraft, exactly what we thought, the conspiracy theorists thought. They were driving, they lose control, they can't even move the aircraft. So remote control of the plane to smash into the World Trade Towers is how he, or what information he got. Now, where is that coming from? This is here's the number up in that upper left corner, HBVR-10C. That's all he's got to work with. And all this stuff just comes. Boom, 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 boom. It's really amazing how, like, psychic humans can be. We're all connected to this, and it's like, I'll granted, I'll say the Farsight Institute did a lot of future stuff, and it hasn't happened or whatever, and you could say it was a different timeline and all that, but when you talk about the past stuff, now it starts getting into some concrete stuff. Interesting thing here I want to bring up. He remote viewed this other spot. So he didn't, I think he said it was like Maryland, around there. He just kind of, you know, you can't, some people can get really direct, others can. It's basically kind of just a nice, I don't want to say a broad brush, because it's not really broad. He's getting some detail here, but basically it's a field. There's hills up here. It's got a fence around. Basically it says keep out unauthorized personnel. And then there's another internal wire. He says interior antenna, military base, like, and then there's a building inside of that. And then when he remote views the inside of it, this is so crazy, folks. It's this, there's, I believe it's down level if I remember right, but they got monitors on the wall. There's people over by the monitors. There's 2 guards guarding the door. There's a circular table. Everybody's, or not everybody, there's a lot of people around the circular table. They got objects, maps, basically like, you know, like pieces. If you were going to do like a war scenario, you'd have the pieces and you'd say, you take your troops here. Then you know how they have the golfing stick and then they move it across the table and all that stuff. So right here, they said these people around the desk had the plans. They were like, all right, plan A is this, boom. If that goes wrong, we got plan B, boom, plan C. All of this for 9/11. This was definitely a coordinated effort. Now, people say, you can't really do that because if that many people know, they're not going to be able to keep it quiet. Well, if you blackmail people, you pay them good, who the hell knows, right? You could have a lot of people on the inside that they're going to keep quiet. I mean, look at the pedophilia thing. That was going on for how many years? And that's finally coming to light after all this. And then he also talks, gets into a Faraday cage. It's insane. They have something inside this Faraday cage. Now, those who don't know what a Faraday cage is, it's an enclosure to block electromagnetic fields. They knew some remote viewers were going to remote view this. So whatever was in there, they didn't want to be seen. Because he couldn't get past it. He's like, there's something there. They have something in there. They don't want you to see it. And that's all he could draw was that because it's all blocked. This is crazy stuff, folks. Johnny Ace in the chat says, Dan, have you seen the galactic hail sign? Is that like a picture? Can I search it quick on the show? Or is it a movie of some kind, Johnny? Casper says it's a sign from the Pleiadians. I'm gonna search it quick. We'll take a look while we're on some subject. The galactic hail sign. We're doing it live, folks, right?
We'll do it live!
I'm gonna check this out quick because it's kind of interesting. Galactic Federation. I don't know if this is what we're looking at, Johnny. I got it on screen here. But I think it's a little off subject, but
What's the matter?
Just kidding. All right, folks, I don't want to hold up the show any longer for you. Let's go. I'm going to talk about the skeleton that was found. Let's bring that on over, right? Let's get some transition music.
I'm a police officer.
So we got this skeleton was found in Thailand. Now this was on, my switcher quit working. This was in on the website Prepare for Change. They have some good stuff on here, but you got to fact check some of it sometimes. So a unique discovery of giant skeleton in Thailand. Giant possibly killed by a horned snake. Now you look at it, it looks very, very convincing. When I first saw this, I was like, wow. Giant skeleton found at Thailand cave, one of the most important discoveries ever made. The skeleton of this giant was discovered in November 2017 in a cave in Krabi, Thailand. This was just made public a few months ago. The skeleton appeared to have been battling a large horned serpent upon death. It is clearly visible. The skeleton, it's a giant skeleton with the serpent wrapped around it. And the individual here is 5'6". This woman standing next to it. Looks very convincing. I definitely a firm believer in the giants. Here's more up close pictures. We got a big skeleton, and it looks like archaeologists cleaning it off. So I really thought about this, and I was like, well, you hear about stuff being fake news all the time. Let me look into this. So I went over to Taiwan Today. Here it is, folks. Disappointed. Taiwan artist takes center stage at Thailand in Krabi. Not going to say some of those words. They're hard. Taiwanian artist Tu Wing Ching smiles next to a plastic skeleton of a giant in a replica archaeological dig he created. Boom! Disappointment.
It can happen.
So it's a fake. At first I thought, okay, is it disinformation to get people not to think? So I went to the Thailand Bene Karabi 2018 event page. Sure enough, here it is. Got his picture here. He is part of the national assistant professor. He currently works as an assistant professor at National University of Arts. And then he does workshops. He does basically recreation of archaeological digs. And he's got here Tu Wing. I shouldn't even try to butcher their names. I'm sorry, folks. Let's go full screen. He explores the boundaries between the realms of real and fictional to rethink history. He recreates excavation works, becomes hard to distinguish the fake and authentic. I'm going to say that these look really good. At first when I saw this, I said, oh, great. Here's giants. We finally got proof. We've seen those other giant pictures and the media always destroys them as fake. I thought, you know, this could actually be a real one. The video was here. I think this is why people thought it was real.
We are now at Kaung Kaung Nam Nam caves, and we found like a huge and complete skeleton of a primate with a huge reptile skeleton on the side. The eye of the primate is estimated to be 6.5 meters. According to the skull and the tools, it might be a male. He is lying in a natural position, with his hand clasping.
หัวหน้าทีมสำรวจทางโบราณคดี
So yeah, I think that's why a lot of people thought it was real, because it kind of seemed like a news thing. But what it is this Thailand Bene Karabi is basically an event, and they get all these artists together to show stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, but we're here to I believe the giant thing is real, and then we get all these fake ones. It's like it makes the public not acclimated to believe that it's not real. So bummer there. A little bit of a letdown, but yeah. All right, folks, we're going to take a short break, and then I want to get into some Denver airport stuff, the 30 million page backup that's going on, and a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. Talk is cheap. Dan Hohlfeld. See you on the other side.
Questioning your reality, questioning everything. You're listening to Talk is Cheap with Dan Hohlfeld.
Enjoying the show? Consider supporting us by donating to our Patreon. Patreon.com/K2D4Network.
Want to listen to the show on the road? Subscribe to our audio podcast. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and many more platforms. Don't miss a single moment of Talk is Cheap.
Like what you hear? Consider supporting the channel by going over to our merch store and making a purchase. Go to K2D4Network.com for more.
This is Shane Robinson with Unbiased and On the Fence, and you're listening to Talk is Cheap with Dan Hohlfeld.
You're listening to Talk is Cheap with Dan Hohlfeld on the K2D4 Network. Live from the K2D4Network.com studios, it's Dan Hohlfeld.
Welcome back to the broadcast, folks. I was looking for my other sound drop. Can't even remember where I put some of this stuff sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yes, folks, back live. It's Tuesday the 12th, March 2019. So let's get into the Denver airport stuff. So this is kind of like, we've talked about this stuff before. There was a lot of weird stuff going on at the Denver airport. Now, why are they doing this? There's a lot of questions. There's another airport so close to it. Why would they build it? And then shout out to Angela Gabrielle. She sent me this. Denver airport's talking gargoyle spooks travelers. Now, I think that this is basically a way to kind of, make the conspiracy more, go along with it, folks. Don't ask questions, because this is how things operate. So I'm going to play the clip here, and you'll see why I come to that conclusion.
That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
This is awesome.
Hello? Do I know you?
Are you hungry?
Oh, I'm starving. You got anything for me? Those flowers look delicious.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's because of the conspiracy.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me. I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this conspiracy. Did you have to buy an extra seat for your hat, sir? Sir, are you stealing a desk? Sir, you have resting, confused face. Do you have a favorite animal or pet?
A caterpillar.
A caterpillar? Wouldn't you rather have a gargoyle?
No!
Yes! You know, you can actually put the phone down and have a conversation with me. But no, I'm a millennial. I've got to post it. I've got to snap face it and Twitter book it. Excuse me, miss, I've got a stain that needs some polishing. Can I borrow your cleaning cart?
Oh, no.
I need your help. Guess what my favorite food is?
What?
No, I want you to guess.
Cumin?
Cumin. Yes, I love cumin.
I said human.
Oh, I thought you said cumin. I'm a real big spice guy. furry hat guy. I can't believe you are wearing one of my friends.
Hey, this isn't your friend.
It used to be until you put it on your head, man.
How old are you?
Well, 243 years old now. I look good for my age, don't I?
Yeah, you work out?
All the time. You should see my squats.
So there it is, folks.
You're such a sweet talker.
Will you take me back home with you?
Let's go. I have some space in my backpack.
Actually, I think you have too much baggage for me.
They're taking the DMT.
So there you have it. They're trying to like basically kind of, and you can see I have a hard time holding back too because I think it is funny. But there's a lot of weird stuff here, and now they're trying to make it all fun and everything's okay. I think this is all part of trying to make it, oh, this is just a cool thing. People are stupid about conspiracies. So with that being said, I wanted to also go through some of the crazy stuff there, because why not while we're talking about it. So you got of course, the murals. We have the soldier with the gas mask and the AR-15, the bayonet on it, and the machete, bringer of death. I saw that. I was like, why would that be in an airport? You got the scary horse out there, the stallion, or excuse me, the Mustang. Standing at 32 feet tall and weighing 9,000 pounds, Mustang is a blue cast fiberglass sculpture with red shining eyes. Jimais died in 2006 while creating the sculpture when the head of it fell on him and severed an artery in his leg. Oh! Isn't that kind of like poetic justice? You're making something pretty demonic there, evil, and it falls on you and you die from it? I thought that was really kind of weird there. And on this here, so you see this is on one of the floor tiles. It's got, basically looks like a mining cart. And there's stuff in the mining cart. You got AU and then AG. Well, you think, okay, that's logical. That's gold and silver. But this is even crazier, folks. It is. The founders of the airport also discovered a new deadly strain of hepatitis known as Australian antigen, also called AUAG. It has been rumored that the AUAG could be a potent weapon in biological warfare. The symbol rests on the ground directly in front of the biological warfare mural. So you think something innocent, and then that might just be a little right in your face. Okay, we're going to use this biological weapon to start killing people. Of course, you got this capstone thing, time capsule. The time capsule beneath this stone contains messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. Wow. And that was by the New World Airport Commission. They put that there in 1994. And then people look up the New World Airport Commission. There's nothing there. They can't figure out who it is, who runs it. Of course, you got the murals with the fire and the bringing of death. Crazy stuff. Kids crying. Animals dying, trying to preserve animals in those glass cases, the penguin. And then at the end of it, they have all the children living in peace. The bringer of death, the soldier we talked about, is dead. And everything's hunky-dory. Now, could this be part of the like Georgia Guidestones after they kill everybody with a plague and everything they wanted to do? They can bring it back to everybody back to this top of the where, go underground when this destruction happens and then bring up the new generation from there after all this is said and done. That was the plan. And where was you got the gargoyle in the briefcase. Jesse Ventura talked about that one, how these were riddles. If the people in the know what it means. And that's why it was okay, and then they make the gargoyle fun with the talking thing. You have to hire somebody full-time to do that. So, I mean, how often is somebody back there running it? That's a full-time job to do that. That wasn't pre-recorded. Denver Airport was commissioned in 1989 at a cost of $1.7 billion. It was then finished in 1995, 2 years late, at a cost of $4.8 billion. That's $3.1 billion over budget. And it's interesting because Stapleton was only 6 miles from the Denver airport. So why would you build another airport so close when there's only one 6 miles away. That doesn't make sense at all. And basically, it goes into, well, it makes perfect sense, because if you want to build an underground facility, and I know they wanted to make this like a new world order headquarters, if you will. It was supposed to be Denver and Atlanta, Georgia, were going to be the two capitals of the new world order. So it makes perfect sense. Let's build an airport over this stuff so we can be doing that. Well, it looks like we're building an airport, and it ran late. Why did it run late? Because they were still building all that stuff, still making it look like, you know, renovations was going on. Hiding in plain sight. That's the best way to hide stuff. And you're bringing people right there to it, too. It's an airport. People go there to transfer, all that good stuff. Tim Griffin, who was on the show when he flew out to Colorado, he flew into Denver. He saw these murals. He took pictures of them. Crazy, crazy stuff. I haven't been there myself, but yeah. Article says that they theorize that it could be 360,000 square foot bunker. So you hear all this talk about this bunker underneath, but you know, where is it? I guess the insiders say they've been there. Can't remember if what's his name said he was down there. Emery Smith, I think he went to the Los Alamos base, but I don't know if he went up to this one. But I guess these are all interconnected into this underground highway system. Now here's an interesting thing here. I want to show this. The back to the horse real quick. I got this book here, The Montauk Project Experiments in Time by Preston B. Nichols. It's got the horse right on the front. Now it's not the exact same, but what's the connection here? It's in the same pose. When they time traveled in the Montauk Project, I think it was like 3000 AD or something like that. Like there was no civilization alive. Everybody was dead, but yet this horse was standing there. So what is this? How does this have to do with the New World Order? There's weird writing on it. Crazy stuff. In your face. It's been a while since I read that book, but I'm pretty sure it was a good book. The thing about Preston Nichols, if you look him up today, he's kind of a junk collector, and it's like, you know, how could this guy have been such a genius? But genius comes in all shapes and sizes. But yeah, he's got a lot of electromagnetic stuff, so I guess it fits. It's just, it's hard to take people serious when they live that way. So,
good luck.
Let's move on to our next topic, right?
Jamie, please.
Okay. So we got 30 million page backup of humanity headed to moon aboard Israeli lander. If the apocalypse strikes, the Ark Mission Foundation wants to be sure all knowledge we've accumulated doesn't disappear. So this is interesting just for a backup plan, since it's like civilizations can be wiped out so quickly. Now this has launched and it's in space right now, and it's going to land on the moon on April 9th. That's the targeted date. And here's a picture of it for those watching. It basically kind of looks like a rounded square, if you will. And then it's got a bunch of writing. You need a microscope to read it. The writing is so small. On Thursday night, okay, this was a while ago, SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carried a Israeli-made spacecraft named Beresheet beyond the grasp of the Earth's gravity and sent it on its way to the surface of the moon. On board, Beresheet is a specifically designed disk encoded with a 30 million page archive of human civilization built to last billions of years into the future. That's why I brought this up. It's so interesting. Billions of years this thing can last. Talk about durability. The backup for humanity has been dubbed the Lunar Library by its creators. And that is Ark Mission Foundation, or AMF. The idea is to place enough backups around the solar system on an ongoing basis that our precious knowledge and biological heritage can never be lost. Well, I don't think we have much compared to other ET civilizations, but it's still interesting. The AMF also placed a small test archive on Elon Musk's red Tesla Roadster that was launched in the direction of Mars. That's interesting. You didn't hear about that, did you?
Cocainum.
That archive encoded in a disk made of quartz silica glass made to last millions of years as the Roadster orbits the sun. The AMF also placed a solid-state copy of Wikipedia on board the CubeSat from Space Chain in low Earth orbit. So it's the size and the thickness of a DVD, but consists of 25 stacked thin nickel films that AMF insists can resist radiation, extreme temperatures, and other harsh conditions found in space for billions of years. The digitalized layers include a copy of Wikipedia, more than 25,000 books, and data for understanding over 5,000 languages. Any alien who comes across it in the future will surely be baffled by a few choice entries like the moon landing conspiracy theories. Oh, I can't. Oh my God. Flat Earth or Tide Pod challenge.
It can happen.
But okay, yeah. So cool. Then they throw that spin in there, but we're a weird civilization, folks. So I'm going to open up the phone lines for the hell of it. If anybody wants to call in, chime in on the articles today. If there's something really important that you think I missed, call in. We got probably another 15, 20 minutes before I close the show out. 1-605-562-0444. 1-605-562-0444. Caller ID is 146509 If you're in a different area of the world, there's other numbers you can use in the description. Go ahead and use those because those are free because they're local. Always, always great. Okay, so with that being said, I think we'll move on to our next topic without further ado.
You're not a nice person.
All right, some TR-3B stuff, right? So this is Michael Sala. Exopolitics.org. Stunning flying triangle photos confirm U.S. Air Force secret space program. On February 18th, 4 stunning photographs of a flying triangle-shaped craft was taken in Orlando, Florida at around 1:20 a.m. The photographer, my confidential source, JP, was then approached by 2 men in black who threatened him to remain silent about what he had seen and photographed. The craft appeared with 3 lights shining, one at each corner and hovering about 45 feet away from him over a secluded field near his home. In a Skype session, JP told me about what had happened. He recalled going to bed around 10 p.m. on Sunday night and then waking up at 2:30 a.m. with a sore throat. He says that when he checked his phone, he saw 4 pictures of a flying triangle. He then remembered that he had been standing out in a field and taking the photographs and video of the craft. He says that he felt an electromagnetic field around the craft, which was the size of a school bus. After taking the photos and video, he remembered starting to walk back home. After 10 minutes, JP said that 2 men in black approached him and threatened him not to tell me about it in particular. He said that one of the men pulled out something that looked like a gun and threatened him. He next remembered waking up in bed. The video of the craft was gone, but the photos remained. What followed is a short video of the original 4 photographs and enhancements to better clarify what JP photographed. So this is interesting, folks. He goes out there, takes these pictures in the middle of the night, approached by men in black. They delete his video, but they let him keep the photos. Why? So this definitely adds some credence to the Men in Black movie where they can wipe your memory. That's crazy stuff because I didn't think that was a real thing. You know, you hear about memory wipes and stuff, but it must have been something really quick. Maybe the gun that they had was a memory wipe or whatever it was. So I'm going to play the video for those watching. So this is basically it looks like a TR-3B. We got the lights in each corner as a typical TR-3B is. There is no light in the center, which is interesting. Typically they would have it for that spot. So the thing about these photographs is it's flat with the picture. Not exactly flat, but you would think that you could get more 3D depth. It would be a little more, that one ain't so bad there, but it looks really, really flat. Like there's not much depth to this, or I guess depth is the right word. Depth to this thing. And then also he's got the metadata from the picture. Now this was a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. So it's all there. Unfortunately, he didn't have the location tag in there. I suppose to save for his privacy. But
Space Force.
It's Space Force at its best. That's why a lot of people go, we don't need a Space Force. It can cost like these big head honcho Pentagon officials. We don't need a Space Force because we got the Air Force. Yeah, because their Space Force is under the Air Force already, because that's what it is. It's USAF. That is the part of the secret space program. I think even in it is in what's the TV show? I can't think of it right now. Oh, it'll come to me later. I guess the one with Stargate. Geez, I'm trying to catch up on episodes. I'm watching it like a madman because there's so much disclosure in that show. It's unbelievable. But the U.S. Air Force is a part of that. Why? Because that's how it is. There's so much disclosure in your face. It's unbelievable. If you want a nice, entertaining disclosure, watch Stargate, the first one, original. I'm on like season 8 now, I think. I got 2 more seasons to go. I'm trying to get through them like so quick because there's like, wow, in your face disclosure. This was way back in the 90s. When you think about all that, you know, they had the gray aliens. They got the antagonists that they're fighting that are basically kind of like the serpents, if you will. And we got that with the reptilians on it. It's just unbelievable when you put it all together. So I thought that was interesting to bring to the table. But could it be faked? Sure. I want to see video of this stuff. Why? He's got to get video. Very compelling, but like I said, it looks flat towards the picture. You know, it would kind of be harder to get these lens or light flares like that to blend. But it's obviously possible to do stuff like that. But again, if you get video, people are going to say it's fake CGI stuff. So you can't win either way. It's one of those things you just try to make it look more legit, right? Let's go ahead and move on to our next article. Child 7328 in the chat says SG1 Atlantis. I haven't been watching the Atlantis one. I've been watching the original. I may do that one when I get the first show done. I might jump over on that, but we'll see. Fred Grace is in the house. Fred, you should call in again tonight, because you got some TR-3B stuff. What was there was like a base or something like that where they had this TR-3B behind it. It looked pretty legit. I should have had that video. Why did they delete the video? It's Men in Black. That's what they do. Alex, right? I don't have that sound drop.
Exactly. That's right.
All right, let's move on to our next article, please.
It doesn't exist, folks.
So this next one is on the Daily Mail. Thousands of pills filled with powdered human baby flesh discovered by custom officials in South Korea. Oh my God. Hear about this stuff all the time. There's a big market for fetal tissue babies. That's why they want abortion to be so normalized. More than 17,000 pills smuggled into the country have been intercepted since last August. Pills viewed as miracle cure for all ailments, but unsurprisingly, they are harmful. The grim trade is being run from China, where corrupt medical staff are said to be tipping off medical companies when babies are aborted or delivered stillborn.
Oh, yeah.
Big, big money. The tiny corpses are then brought, stored, and housed in refrigerators in homes of those involved in the trade before they are removed and taken to clinics where they are placed in medical drying microwaves. Oh my God, this is so sick.
Oh, yes.
Once the skin is tinder dry, it is palmed into powder and then processed into capsules along with herbs to disguise the true ingredients from health investigators and custom officers. The Chinese have historically consumed human placentas to improve blood supply and circulation. There's a lot of nutrients in that stuff.
Think you can handle that?
Tests carried out on the pills confirmed they were made up of 99.7% human remains. Oh my God.
I feel sorry for your mother.
The capsules were all confiscated, but no one has been punished because the amount was deemed small and they were not intended for sale, a custom official added. Ooh, China performs 13 million abortions a year. So when you put all these puzzle pieces together, you know, they want to go her body, her choice, all that stuff. I say to a certain point, but at this, you know, now they want to do post-birth abortions. This gets really sick. What it is just there's just a big market for it. Obviously, even the baby foreskin, big market for cosmetics and that stuff. And they feed this lie to the American public. Anywhere else they got their foreskin, here in America, they snip them just like that at birth. You can't consent. They just whack it right off. They think it's useless. There's actually 22,000 nerve endings in it. Gone. Talk about being disabled. And the way you see that, oh, they strap the baby down and just rip it right off. It's just like, oh, he doesn't feel it. Yeah, he does. That's why he's crying like a SOB. It's like, this is so sick. There's a big market into this baby abortions, all that stuff. That's why they push it so much. Not to mention, I think they get something in their cults for the sacrifice of all this stuff. It gets very, very sick when you go down it, but for it just to be normalized, that's what they want to do, is normalize this stuff, because if you can normalize it and get people to go the other way, everybody goes along with it. It's like, oh well, and that's what they want. It's Satan's world, right? Ugh. Sick stuff.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
So, we'll do another 5 minutes, folks. Thank you guys for joining me on this Tuesday, 12th edition March live. Always good to be live. So if you're not available to catch the episode, you can catch it later on all your favorite podcasts. So let's go ahead and boogie on down.
Cocainum.
Okay, so now this, I think there's going to be people on the fence about this. It is 3D printable gun file shares face threat of criminal charges by New Jersey officials. On February 2nd, New Jersey Attorney General threatened to use criminal prosecutions on any individuals who shared files that manufacturing plans for 3D printable guns. Defense distributed and Second Amendment organizations like the Firearms Policy Coalitions have banded together in a lawsuit against the state of New Jersey. Passage of S-2465, a law which bans 3D printable guns. It is currently illegal for a person to distribute by any means, including the internet, digital instructions in the form of computer-aided design files or other coded instructions that may be used to program three-dimensional printer parts to produce a firearm, such as the receiver, magazines, and other firearm components. And they say they can have fines and imprisonment of up to 10 years. Now, the Trump administration had this settled where they were letting it happen. But now New Jersey wants to say, no, you can't do that. And this is the big point here at the end. As technology advances, it will become more difficult for gun control to be implemented. This is why I brought this up, because you can sit here and have all these organizations, or excuse me, government, try to lock it down saying you can't do that, that's illegal, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, the criminals are going to be the ones that you don't want doing it. And guess what? They're going to do it anyway because they'll go on the dark web, get those files, use the 3D printer, bam, done. And they can find any means to get the job done. And it's like, this is what it comes down to, that this is a tool. A gun is a tool. It depends on how you use it. If you got the public educated so they know how, what's safe, how to use it, there's nothing wrong with a firearm. Use it to protect yourself, use it for sporting, use it for whatever. But they want to demonize it so bad, like, you can't trust average citizens with a gun. Oh my God, they might shoot and kill you. It's all about responsibility. That's why the left is not responsible. It's all emotional response. If they just taught everybody, be responsible, here's some training, blah, blah, blah. That's how it was. Back in the day, you could go, not when I was in school, but previous generations, you could drive to your school having a gun in the back of your truck, leave it in the rack, going to school. They'd take the guns in the school there was classes and stuff. It was normal. Now they demonized it so much. And this comes back to stupid laws that I think that we still got in America, that you can have a pistol, a regular pistol, but as soon as you put a vertical grip on it, I believe it's either a misdemeanor or a felony. I think it's a felony, if I'm not mistaken, because then it becomes an SBR and the SBR laws, and then you get the ATF all involved. It's just very, very stupid. If anything, it helps with control of the pistol and being more safe and accurate. But they say putting a vertical grip on a pistol is no, no, no. You can have it at a 45 and you're fine, but if it's that sucker's vertical, boom! It's like the way the laws are, it's so stupid. And I really thought when Trump was in office, we could have got some of this pushed through. A lot of it's more to blame on Mitch McConnell, because we did have national reciprocity for concealed carry. It passed the House. It had to pass the Senate yet, which it would have, but Mitch McConnell didn't bring it to the frickin' floor for a vote. So now it expired, and now it's got to start all over again. It's got to pass the House again. That's how it's so hard to get bills passed. Because damn well Trump would have signed it. The Senate would have passed it. Mitch just had to bring it to the damn table, but he's so... He's got the turtle face. I'm not going to make fun of people too much.
Well, we'll see.
But, yeah. That's my little rant. It's so stupid the way some of these laws are written. It's like, how crazy do they want to get with stuff? All right, folks. Saying hi to you in the chat over here. We'll see who we got. Let's go take a visit. Johnny Ace in the house. Kia Kokta. I think it's the first time I've seen you in the chat. Darian's in the house. We got 51 watching. Awesome, folks. I think I might cover one more quick, and then we'll wrap up the show for today. This one is just a quickie. Mysterious. Something is going on. Mysterious lights captured hovering above Minnesota stuns viewers. This was taken from St. Louis Park, Minnesota by Vequez Diaz. We'll play the video here. I personally... in this article, they say it couldn't be drones because they would be in restricted airspace. But when you look at this thing, it's like solid in the sky. So it doesn't even look like for those listening, a conventional UFO, because it almost looks like a sock formation. Now, could it be some lights shining from the ground? I don't know. You don't see any beams coming off the ground like you would with a spotlight. It's really weird. I've never seen anything like that. Game Boy in the chat posted a link. What is this link, Game Boy? Is it appropriate for the show? I can play it quick before we wrap up. Yeah, if you post a link, I got to approve it because you never know what the link might be for. But yeah, there's the sock. Interesting above Minnesota. take it for what it is. I thought it was just cool to show it here as a quick little video. I personally, I don't think it's really... What could it be, though? I mean, that's weird to think about. Why is it not letting me close this damn... hit pause there. Technical stuff here, folks. For those listening, I know it gets kind of painful when we're dealing with technical stuff. Okay, a lecture on physics. I'll have to look at it later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap up for the day. I wanted to mention, too, if you do want to leave a voicemail or something like that, don't be afraid to call our voicemail. That's 1-256-510-5234, 1-256-510-K2D4. We've been, we don't have so much voicemails lately, but I haven't been advertising it, but it's there. It's always there. It's down in the description if you forget it, if you want to look at it after the show. Call that, say hi, you know, leave some ideas if you want, or just say, this is really weird stuff. I can show a quick clip before we do a subject on the regular show as well. It's always cool to interact with you guys and have that interaction, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So, just a reminder before we wrap up, we're going to have the regular panel scheduled for this Friday, the 15th. That'll be 5:30 p.m. Central. We'll be live. We'll have Pete and Dusty. I encourage you guys to call in. Let's just have fun with that one. We're going to be talking about booms, the mysterious booms heard worldwide. Very interesting stuff. I'm not going to say too much more about it because I don't want to wreck the surprises. So we'll go with that. And of course, don't be afraid to support the channel through Patreon, Teespring, or make a one-time donation on PayPal. Much appreciated to keep this channel running. With that being said, we can't make it on Friday. I'll see you next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Dan Hohlfeld, signing out. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Visit K2D4Network.com today.